Hi there, this is Felicia with A Bit From Within. Today is April 22nd and it's Earth Day, and we just kind of finally are starting to hear more information here in Colorado about moving from being in a stay-at-home order during this coronavirus pandemic to moving to a safer at-home order. And I've woke up this morning just with a lot of nerves, feeling this sense of uneasiness. And I think it's because there's a lot of me that just does well, and actually it's a huge part of who I am. I just need to know. I just need structure. And this comes into a lot of different areas of my life. I'm one of those people that would almost prefer to know how a movie or a book ends before I experience it. It just helps me cope better with whatever I'm going to experience. I also just am the kind of person that really enjoys knowing. And so not really having a really good grasp on what's life going to be like now and what are the best ways that we can keep ourselves safe. And it brings up a lot of fear for me because I don't want to become sick, and I don't want anyone I know to become sick. And I just honestly, if I'm speaking from the heart, I just am really struggling that this is even happening at all. And I know that pandemics and sickness are a large part of our world history, our Earth history, and that this is a natural evolution of life, right? I keep coming back to that idea that, we are not owed anything by this world. We're not guaranteed our health. We're not guaranteed money or well-being. But we do have to do our best to do our part to protect ourselves and to aspire to live the life that we want. And of course, being a person who wants to have a healthy life, knowing that you can go out and become infected or even unknowingly infect somebody else, it's just really scary. It's really scary to not know if you're going to have the right health care, that if you end up in a hospital, that you're going to be somebody who's looked out for, who's going to be given the doctors who are the most familiar with, or if this virus is even going to show up in your body in a way that's going to be able to get you through to the other side. And that is the reality of what we're living with right now. And I find myself just in a place of fear. And it's my first instinct to just want to withdraw. I haven't seen my mom since middle of March. It's been over a month, which is like the longest I've ever gone without seeing her, and same with my sister, my dad, my family. And I was just on the phone with my sister before I sat down to record this, and she was asking me, so do you want to see me? And I had to tell her, I'm like, yes, I do want to see you, but I don't know when I'm going to feel safe to do that. And I'm feeling a little bit of some shame popping up because I feel like a lot of people are wanting me to feel brave, just to go out there and start doing stuff again, just to get back to normal. There's so many people who seem so eager for that. And I just don't feel that way. I feel very scared. And I'm somebody who does like to have a lot of control. If you guys are Enneagram people, I'm an Enneagram type 1, and that's the perfectionist or the reformer. And I feel that coming up right now, just this almost the sense of like, if I do get sick or if I get somebody else sick, then I did something wrong. I put myself in a position that I wasn't safe. I made the wrong decision, and I really struggle with living with those kind of regrets. And that's why this practice of yoga is so important, and why moments like this are so important, just to be able to speak your truth, and then to also be able to know what could be on the other side. What kind of tools are going to help support your coming into a place of relief from that fear, of becoming more grounded in what you are able to do right now, what you're capable to do. And so I thought that I would just take a moment to share what I'm going to be doing for my own self to become more grounded right now and to try to lower the fear. So if you're feeling any of that same fear, I don't have very many answers right now. I just know that there has to be a way forward, and that we are in it together, and we just have to continue to face whatever comes next. We can't run away and hide, which is what I want to do. But we have to be courageous right now, and we have to know that we can handle whatever is in front of us. So, let's begin. So right now, we're just going to use some mindfulness for our meditation today, and really just lean into the fear. I know that might sound a little crazy or a little daunting, but we can do it. So as you find a comfortable seat here, maybe even one where you feel some physical support behind you, like you're up against a wall or in a chair. But if you can feel either your sit bones connected to the earth or your feet connected to the earth, that's really going to help you with being more physically grounded. So find that position, whatever you've chosen to sit with, and let yourself become a little bit more comfortable. Maybe noticing any tension in the shoulders, giving them a couple rolls or wiggles. Maybe you reach from side to side with the arms overhead, just finding a little lateral stretch, opening up the side bodies. And then let's actually take a moment to sweep the hands overhead, interlace the fingers, and flip the palms face up, as you just find a little bit more length through the side body. We're trying to create some more space around the heart so that we're not sunken into ourselves. And on an exhale, just let all of that go and choose maybe hands on knees, or hands next to your legs connected to the earth. And from right here, if it feels okay to close down the eyes, you can find that now. We're going to just start by naming the fear. Just notice, what is it exactly that you are afraid of right now? For me, fear of the unknown feels very palpable. Or fear of a loss of control. So just notice, what is it for you? Name it. And then if you were going to begin to paint a picture in your mind's eye of what does that fear look like? Maybe it's something very abstract, like it's a color or a word, or a color and a word, or a color, a word, and a texture. Maybe it's just a texture. Maybe it just feels heavy or lonely or small or gigantic. Just notice what comes up for you as you start to bring this vision of fear into life. And it might not be abstract at all. You could literally picture yourself, just using my example from earlier, just like walking back out in public. Maybe you picture yourself at a restaurant or in a store, or back at work. And just notice the first feeling that comes up for you and where you feel it in your body. So maybe it's a lump in your throat, or a tingling in your fingers, or holding your breath. Maybe you feel a tightening in the low back, or it could be anything really. Just notice where that really lands in your body, because it's going to show up there somehow, even if it's very subtle. And from right here, we're just going to go into that place. We're going to just use our mindfulness to notice how that's feeling in our body, and how this place in our body, combined with how we visualize that fear, how those two things work together. We're just going to lean into it by not being afraid of it, by not running away, by not feeling like we have to avoid it or shut it down. But instead, we're braving it. We're knowing that here's this thing that's scary, this thing that I am sitting with fear. But the fear does not consume me. The fear is not bigger than me. The fear doesn't make me small or incapable. And as you start to feel maybe some feelings of bravery coming in, maybe you notice where that begins to land in the body. Maybe you notice yourself sitting up a little bit taller. Or you notice yourself taking in some deeper breaths right here. Maybe you suddenly feel a little bit more grounded, like the low body feels heavier. Or maybe there's just a new quality of relaxation that's beginning to settle into your body. And then just begin to picture yourself interacting with that fear. Maybe you're going back to work or interacting, or maybe seeing family that you haven't seen in a while or reuniting with friends. And just notice how that makes you feel, whether you feel very nervous about that or if it's starting to feel a little bit more doable when you picture yourself focusing on the action. Maybe right away you start to know, okay, I'm seeing myself doing this, but I also know I'm going to need these things to make me feel safe. Maybe that's distance with this current situation or protection. Just a few more breaths, really feeling the situation out and leaning into this fear that you may have right now. And then we're going to just take 5 more breaths, beginning to, with these breaths, release the visions that we've kind of conjured up. Release focusing so hard on the fear or the interactions or where it lands in your body. And we're just going to let these 5 breaths clear your mind. Maybe just focus on the quality of the inhale and exhale. Or you can even begin to just picture a colored light somewhere in your body. For me, I'm going to choose my belly, this stomach area, just our place of power, our place of empowerment. So I'm picturing a yellow light there as it corresponds that color with that chakra. 5 breaths. Let's begin now. Perfect. And then just let yourself pull in one more breath, this time maybe fluttering the eyes open. And just coming back into this present moment. And before we move on completely, just take a moment to notice your surroundings. Maybe take in the color of the walls around you or the furniture that's nearby. Maybe notice what kind of clothes you're in right now. If you can smell anything or hear anything besides me. Maybe you just notice all of your senses coming on board. and grounding you in this moment. And let's just have this moment where we feel a little bit of that confidence coming back. And you didn't have to decide anything big in that visualization or meditation. If all you know is that you have fear and you sat with it, that is more than good enough. If you were able to picture yourself and know what kind of next steps you need to take, that's also great. But that doesn't happen every time that we're in a place of fear and we sit down and are mindful of it. Sometimes we're not ready. And the knowing inside of us is that we need to maybe keep some certain walls up for some reason, or we need to maintain our distance. Let's really just try not to judge ourselves for any of the knowing that happened for us, but instead let's trust that. And you can always come back to this. You don't have to necessarily listen to this meditation again, although you are of course certainly welcome to. But just knowing that even just taking a few minutes when you start to get filled with a lot of that nervousness, or maybe you're noticing it because you start to get really irritable with your family or short with how you feel when you get an email, things like that, just those little cues that, maybe I'm not all the way okay right now. Maybe you just take a few moments, even go on a walk, and you just allow yourself to lean into the fear by being very present with it, by not letting it be bigger than you, but by seeing it and knowing that you are just as big as it and can look it right in the eye and understand it. Because a lot of times the fear is from us not understanding something. So when we sit there and we say, okay, I'm ready to just try to figure out you, fear, that's when we start to become more powerful. So please let me know if you are able to make it through this mindfulness exercise, or if you're resonating with any of this. Please let me know. We're right at the beginning of this journey with A Bit From Within. It's a brand new project that I'm launching. And so as we continue to work through this, I'd just love to know how it's resonating with you and if it's relevant to what you're dealing with in your life. I do hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day or evening, wherever you are. And I hope that you have that courage to keep going. Thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.